Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rich Life. I want you guys to know that I went back and forth so many times about what I wanted this week's topic to be. I knew that I wanted to do a countdown to Mother's Day. I thought maybe I'll do a craft or a recipe for Mother's Day brunch. And then I took a step back and I decided, you know what? I don't want to do any of those things. Instead, my gift to you this year is the gift of conversation. For the next 2 episodes, I want to talk about some of the things I've learned in my own journey of motherhood that I hope will benefit you, whether you are a new mom, whether you've been a mom for a while, whether you're about to be a mom. And if you don't fit in those categories, I hope that you will share this with someone you know who will benefit from these tips. In my own life, I struggled so much in the beginning with how to maintain my own sense of identity without losing myself in the midst of motherhood. So today's episode is all about that, how not to lose yourself in the midst of motherhood. My first tip is all about the concept of self-preservation. This is not about being selfish, this is about preserving yourself. And it all stems from that familiar phrase we've all heard when we've flown on an airplane: put on your own oxygen mask first. Because the reality is, as moms, we are only going to be as good for our children as we are to ourselves. So that means taking care of yourself. We as women, as moms, we often put the needs of other people before us. And in this case, when you're responsible for other human beings, you are also responsible for making sure that you are okay. So never lose sight of the importance of taking care of yourself first so that you will be in a position to take great care of your children. Tip number 2, do not be consumed by mommy guilt. I know that that's a difficult thing to resist in the world we live in today, when society and social media will paint this picture like motherhood is perfect. If you don't do this, you're not a good mom. If you do this, you're a great mom. What you have to do is try really hard to focus on your own experience and own that. A friend of mine told me one day when I was feeling particularly bad, I had some struggles with breastfeeding and I felt like the breastfeeding police were all in my face. And she said, you know what? As long as Riley is okay at the end of the day, as long as she's healthy and happy, you have done your job. And when I whittled it down and thought about that, like that being my one main job, everything else became kind of secondary. And so I want to share that with you. When you are faced with these images that make you feel bad about what you're doing, stop, don't. As long as your baby, your child is healthy and happy at the end of the day, that is the job you are meant to do. Next up, never lose sight of your dreams just because you've become a mom. I know in my own case, I struggled a lot after I had Riley. I had a business for 10 years and I remember when I was in the NICU and the doctor asked what I did and I told her I worked for myself, I had this business, and she said, you know, you'll be lucky when you have Riley at home with you if you'll be able to send 2 emails a day. And to me, that was devastating. I'm thinking this woman knows what she's doing. I'm hearing her, but you know, thank God I didn't listen. I got home and I said, you know what, maybe I can't do this the way I did it before, but I'm gonna figure out how I can still pursue my dream of being an entrepreneur, of working for myself, but I'm gonna do this with my daughter. I'm not gonna let go of my dreams, but I'm just gonna shift them, reformulate them a little bit. And you know what? We birthed a beautiful thing together. We created BambiniWare, baby and mommy accessories. Through that, as you guys know from my vision board series, we got the partnership with Martha Stewart, and then that evolved. And then now I'm here hosting the show, The Rich Life, a show that I would have never even dreamed of had I not looked at my life from a different perspective once Riley came. So for you, don't give up your dreams. You may have to change them around a little bit, but stay focused on them and you will be a better mom because of that. It's so easy to get caught up in the kids' activities, but what I like doing is showing Riley, introducing her to new things that I love, like opera, ballet, some of the cool things you guys have seen on Instagram. Oh, and even tablescaping, of course. And then I love watching her absorb that stuff and ask me questions like, Mommy, when are we doing our next tablescape video? Or when are we going to the opera? When are we going to the ballet again? And that way, I don't feel like I've lost anything. In fact, I've gained a new buddy to go on all these adventures with. Next up, don't feel bad about establishing mom boundaries. In our house, this may be a little bit TMI, but I feel like it's important to share for this video. I have what I call mommy's private pee-pee time. When Riley was a baby, she'd be perched up right in the bathroom with me all the time. But when she got old enough to understand, I had to tell her this is mommy's private pee-pee time. Sometimes I just need a break. So that's what I do. In your case, it might be your Wednesday night cycling class that is in permanent marker on the calendar. But whatever it is, make sure that your family understands that that is untouchable. That is one way that you can always make sure that you are maintaining your sense of self. You're not losing yourself in the midst of motherhood. Next up, get creative with your time. The fact of the matter is no one really has enough time in their days to do everything they need to do, especially moms, between shuffling the kids to school and activities and making dinner and all these things. It's so hard to carve out time for you, time that's uniquely yours. So what you can do is get creative during those times when you have actual time that you don't realize you have. So for example, when I take Riley to ballet on Saturdays, if Cedric's with me, we turn that into a little date. For 45 minutes, we have some solo time that we might not have been able to get during the week. So we don't just sit in the studio, we go get coffee, and it's such a nice, refreshing time that we can have together. And if he's not there, then instead of scrolling through social media, I bring a book, I catch up on some work, or anything that I feel like is a beneficial use of my time. So get creative with your time, claim your time, reclaim your time, all right? Last but not least for today, make sure you make time to go on a momcation. We talked about this at the beginning of the year when I went on my first vacation of the year solo, and I want to encourage each of you to try to fit that in your own lives. It doesn't have to be super extravagant. It can even be a staycation where you just get a couple of days alone where you can relax and recharge and get renewed and re-energized for yourself and for your family. As always, I hope these tips will help you as you are trying to maintain your sense of self in the midst of motherhood. I know that that's not an easy thing, and I hope that what I've done is just open up a conversation. Definitely, if you have questions, thoughts, send them my way. And I hope that you subscribe to the Riche Life so that you can stay up to date with all of the latest. Speaking of which, next week we're going to be talking about how to find your mom tribe. If you already have a mom tribe, maybe you need to do a little reshuffling. We're going to cover that too. And before I forget, we're doing a giveaway. I am giving away one of my signature items from the BambiniWare collection. It's what we call the mom tool belt, if you will. The apronini keeps all your must-haves close by at all times. And you can enter two ways. One, you can post a picture and a caption on Instagram that tells us how you are living the Riche life. Tag BambiniWare Life and use the hashtag the Riche Life. If you don't have Instagram though, you can still enter. Just shoot me an email at richie@bambiniware.com, include a picture, and tell me again how you live the Riche life. All right, so I look forward to seeing you guys next week here at the Riche Life. Until then, take care everybody.